Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we've got a VV Lab. That's right guys, we got a VV Lab lined up for today. So for any of the new listeners out there, what on earth am I talking about? What is a VV Lab? Well guys, I do like to review games that have been submitted by the community. So look at it like this, guys. It's kind of meant to be a free coaching session with the VV Theory, with me, right? And I offer this to anyone who's interested. I only review one person's game each, right? Or how do I say this? I only review one game for an individual who wants me to review their game. So that way we can keep it going and I can review as many people's games as possible. But it's called the VV Lab, and in today's video, we got 5 games to go over. If you're interested in me reviewing one of your games, it's very easy to set up, and it's completely free. So number one, of course, download the sim, and then I would download a program called OBS, and that is a recording program. It's completely free. Record your games on, to record your games on. So that's the first thing, is record your game. Second thing is upload it to YouTube. And the third thing is hop on the VV Theory Discord, links in the channel description, and I have a channel called Review My Game. And all you do is post a link in that channel. As soon as I see it, I give you a thumbs up, and then you get added to the queue. You get added to the line. And as soon as I get around to it, then I review your game. So pretty easy to set up, pretty standard. It's all completely free, like I said. And notice I block out the names, what you see in the background on the screen right now. This is one of the games we're going to be going over today. I block out all the names so there's total anonymity, right? So again, it's just meant to be like a free coaching session with me for those who are interested. I have had people submit multiple submissions, for me to review. I typically only do one for each unique user, if that makes sense. So that's that. So let's do this, guys. That took forever for me to explain. Very long-winded intro today. We got 5 games to go over, 5 different games submitted by the community. All right, so let's do this. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description like usual, and I'll have all relevant links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. This video is brought to you by Nin Garden. Pre-orders are now open for the Journey's End playmat featuring the Pirate King, with a 1 in 20 chance to pull the special Wanted Bounty variant. Plus, the Chaos and Crown collection, including the Berserk and Absolute Ruler playmats, are available at a discounted price. Nin Garden is also introducing their new soft cloth hybrid playmats, now available with select designs. And don't forget to use the code TheVV at the checkout to get 8% off on your next order. Alright guys, first game we're going to be going over is a game of Blue-Purple Luffy versus Green-Yellow Trafalgar Law. Okay, so let's get the volume off. It's off, and let's make sure the speed's on 2x. We're good, and here we go. Okay, so guys, real quick, let me pause actually before we really launch into this. I do not pre-watch these. These games are, I'm basically reacting to these live, right? Where I don't pre-watch these games. I have no idea what's about to happen or who wins or what. I'm just trying to analyze the lines of play, and we're going to try to break down, each game as we go across them. So Blue-Purple Luffy against Green-Yellow Trafalgar Law. First things first, I would say that going second is probably preferable with Blue-Purple Luffy, and you guys cannot see it, but that is what the user chose to do. The person who's playing Blue-Purple Luffy, I can see the chat, you guys cannot, and in the chat it has like the game log, right? And they have chosen to go second, which I think is a very good idea, because notice this, they're going to be able to go straight into their 4-Dawn play with Mr. 2 Bankai Bentham. Okay, so really good start so far for Blue-Purple Luffy. I could see going first as well with Gear 2s and things like that, but going second seems like a very safe bet. Okay, very fast start here. The Green-Yellow Trafalgar Law, they're starting to spread very wide on the board with some searchers. That's going to help them get to the 5-cost condition of their leader very quickly. Okay, they attack in for 6. We counter out with a 2k counter. I like that. So, Pauls, let's talk about that, and then we're going to ramp with Mr. 2 Bankai Bentham and pass the turn back. We could have technically swung for 7, but I get holding a Dawn open for a possible event, but no one wants to use an event this early. Maybe we should have swung for 7. Either way, they took the hit, so it doesn't matter. But right here, what was I about to say? Oh, there was a 6,000 power attack into a 6,000 power leader, and a 2k counter was used. that is the right call in this situation, at least in my personal opinion. Do not be afraid to use a 2K counter, a 2K counter to counter out of a 1K attack, right? An attack you can get out with a 1K counter. Don't be afraid to use a 2K counter, because at the end of the day, you're just using one card to get out of one attack. And think of it like this, guys. If it's a 5K attack into a 5K and you're trying to defend, yes, you can counter with a 1K to get out of it for one card. But you can also counter out with a 2K to get out for just one card. So that was really good, very mature playline there. Not worrying about using the 1K counter in hand, the Mr. 2 Bancré Bentham, because that could mess up our curve, right? Because right here, we went from 4 to 5 Dawn in one turn, so next turn we'll be on 7 Dawn, but then when we play out the next Mr. 2 Bancré Bentham, we're going to go straight to 8 Dawn, and we're going to untap and be able to use our Leader's Effect. So again, really well played there by the blue-purple Luffy player. Okay, and if anything I say doesn't make sense, guys, be sure to ask in the comment section below. Okay, so that was a very solid, very standard play line there from the green-yellow Trafalgar Law player. They play out the 3-cost Bonnie, setting the top card of their life to the 5-cost Cavendish. Then they use the leader effect with 1 Dawn attached to the leader to pull back the 1-cost Searcher Luffy, and they play out the Cavendish from the top of life, getting 2 Dawn as active. Again, very solid standard play line from the green-yellow Trafalgar Law player. Okay. Now, let's see what they do next. They're going to play out a Kashiro to protect the Cavendish. And, okay, wow. So check this out. They attack in for 7, and we take the hit as blue-purple Luffy, and it was a Thunder Bagua. Okay, so that's going to put us on 8 Dawn. Well, at least this turn. So maybe we should have saved the Thunder Bagua looking back. Not necessarily. It's not like it's a bad play or anything, but I think we actually could have probably saved the Thunder Bagua here, because hear me out, the Goldie Roger in hand, you can only buff your leader with that ability if your opponent is, well, actually, hang on. We do have Kairos we'll talk about in a minute, but let me finish what I was saying about Goldie Roger. Goldie Roger can only buff 2,000 to your leader for the turn if you or your opponent are on 10 Dawn. However, I do like the ramp now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm actually looking at the hand here, because now we don't have to play out the Mr. 2 Bancré Bentham. We can save that as a 1K counter, and then guess what? We have a Kairos that we can play this turn to bottom deck, or excuse me, bounce back the Cavendish to the opponent's hand, and the Kashiro can't save them from that. So let's see if that's what the blue-purple Luffy player chooses to do. Attacking for 6 first to keep that character on the board. Well played there, and now probably going to play this out. Yeah, play out the Kairos, bouncing back, and not attacking with the leader. Interesting. Not attacking with the leader. I think it was worth attacking with the leader there. Maybe we're trying to starve them a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, so 6K. So, guys, very fast play going on here. I do have it in 2x speed, but the green-yellow Trafalgar Law player clearly knows what they're doing. What they did that turn is they played out the 7-cost Trafalgar Law right here, and they put a Cavendish on top of their life with the effect. They used the leader effect to pull back one of their cards. I think it was the 1-cost Searcher to cheat out the Cavendish, getting 2 Dawn as active, and playing out the Kashiro with that. Or actually, did they block out with the last Kashiro, guys? I'm sorry, we do have to go back and analyze some things here. Y'all give me just a minute. So we play out the Kairos, and then we don't attack in. So they just had the Kashiro from last turn. Okay, so they go 2 into the 1. Very well played there by them. They pull back the Kashiro. Excuse me, I was wondering what they pulled back. I was wondering how they were able to do that. They pulled back the Kashiro to replay it. Okay, so we will talk about that play real quick, guys. What should have been done instead is the 2-cost Kid and Killer should have been pulled back instead. Unless they're just trying to play around a Charlotte Pudding or something like that, the green-yellow Trafalgar Law player should have pulled back the Kid and Killer to play that back out and do a search with the effect there to play out the Cavendish with the leader's effect. Okay, so now we're over to the blue-purple Luffy player's turn. We're doing a top 5 search. There's a Rosinante. Can y'all see that okay? Yeah, I think y'all can see that okay. So there's a 5-cost Rosinante, trash an event to draw 2. And then there's the 9-cost Sanji, the 5-cost Nami, the 5-cost 6K blocker Nami, and then a Mr. 2 Bancré Bentham. Okay, I think we drew the Uso Hachi with the effect. Okay, so that must have been in there as well, because I only see 4 cards. Okay, now we don't really have a great card to play into with our 9-cost Sanji in hand, but playing into the Rosinante or the Nami is not terrible. Like, that's not a bad play, and you're establishing 2 bodies along the way, and you can fix your hand as well with that. Okay, here we go. So going to draw into the Nami, and then it looks like, okay, it looks like we might actually do a turn of Goldie Roger, buffing our leader up by 2,000. And then we're going to be able to swing for 8, and then 9, And then we're going to have a Dawn left for Gum Gum Giant. Okay, so it looks like Green Yellow Law, they're on a 9 Dawn turn here. Okay, they go ahead and use the Bonnie to lock down the Kairos. Okay, very, very nice, nicely played there. A lot of 8Ks coming in. We're countering out to the best of our ability, and then a 10K we're going to use to cash in on this Gum Gum Giant. Okay, and that should be it for the Law player. We're just waiting for them to pass the turn back. They've not. Oh, they're going to use their leader effect to play out the Trafalgar Law and not do anything with the effect. Just leave him as a blocker. Interesting. Okay, that's very interesting. Very, very interesting there. Okay, so let me go ahead and look. Sorry, guys, I'm just kind of yapping right now. So we do get a Gear 2, it looks like, with the leader effect. We do a top 5 search. We grab the Gear 2. We set our top 5 up, or our remaining top 4 up, where we're going to draw Sanji for the turn, being able to play into a Goldie Roger, and then we have 2 cards after that. We probably should have technically push the Otama above the Gum Gum Giant, or the Gum Gum Red Rock, but that probably doesn't matter too much. Okay, here we go. Playing out the Sanji, getting the 8 cost 10K on the board, and now everything's going into the board here. Yeah, and this is actually, they'll probably block with the Kashira, of course, and then pass the turn back. We have the Gear 2, we're an 8,000 power leader, and we have 2 life left. I think we're actually in a very good position here. I think we are in a very, very good position here. Okay, so 8 into 8, that they're definitely playing correctly. The Green Yellow Trafalgar Law is playing this game pretty correctly here by just attacking in for the smallest numbers possible. One thing I will say is I guess they had to try to survive, having to deal with that Kashiro, but I think they should have locked a Dawn down with the Bonnie, in my opinion. Okay, 9 into 8. We're going to go ahead and take that one. The 1 cost Searcher Luffy is played out. They grab a Capone Gang Beige. That's the OP10 one, the blocker. And let's see what they choose to do here. They have no cards, though. They have no cards in life. So maybe they'll swing in with the Cavendish here for 9. Standing 2 Dawn, they have 5 left. I'm not sure what they're going to do here. And we go ahead and 1K out. I don't hate that. I think that was a good play. Okay, now pause. Let me actually look at the top 5 search here. Just blockers is what was played out there. 3 blockers, but we have 5 attacks coming in this turn. It looks like we might even choose to grab the Red Rock. Looks like we might grab the Red Rock. Other than that, though, we can actually grab anything in our in these top 5 outside of the Otamas. So if we want the blocker, which I think is a good call, I'm going to be honest, this is what I would choose here, guys. And again, I don't pre-watch these, so I don't know what's going to be chosen by the player. But I would grab the 5 cost Nami, and I would ship everything back to the bottom, and I'd be playing out the Nami this turn and setting up from there, or trying stuff from there. So we'll have to, but let's see what they choose to do. Okay. All right. So it looks like, yeah, grabbing the Nami for sure. They do set up the 2K counters, so you can play out the Onami now to grab the 2K and 1K, right? The 2K Otama. We drew the 1 Otama for the turn, and we could play out the Nami to set up what we need to and push cards around from there. Okay, let's see what happens next. Looks like we might just play out the Kairos. Going to go ahead and develop another turn. Okay. Yep. So actually, they did that to develop, but also to get a card off the board. Okay, so 2K, 1K, 1K to get out of that. Yep, and it looks like we're going to be coming in for 9K, 9K, 10K, 10K. Okay, yeah, well, now it's just math. They don't have enough, and that's going to be a good game. So with that in mind, maybe it was, we probably should have done the math there. Let's go ahead and look at this real quick before we move on to the next game. So for the top 5 search, here we go. So this is the final top 5 search we see. If we were just trying to get rid of a card on their board, we probably should have grabbed the Gum Gum Red Rock. To extend the game longer, it would be go with the Nami. And I really, the more I thought about it, it's like, actually, keeping these cards on top is not the worst idea. Because I was trying to get greedy and go for some actual events like Gum Gum Giant or whatever. Yeah, that's why I was saying grab the Nami and put the rest on the bottom. But this wasn't terrible either because it gets you to a 2K, 2K, 1K with the top 5 search for the Nami. And then it would also, you'd have a blocker, you'd have a life, you'd have a Dawn open for your Gear 2, and you can go from there. But if we're going for lethal, like we did here, and we probably could have if we just did a little bit of math, grabbing the Red Rock is actually the best decision because it removes one of their characters for 6 instead of the 7 from Kairos. And then what we could have done was, okay, pay 6, bottom deck any of their blockers. It doesn't even matter which one. So bottom deck any of their blockers, and then we still have 4 Dawn left. So we could go, okay, attach 3 Dawn to our leader, swing for 9, Kairos swing for 9, and then Sanji swing for 9, and then swing for 10 with a Goldie Roger and an 11. All right, just to summarize, very well played by the Blue-Purple Luffy player. Blue-Purple Luffy's still very solid, especially, I think, even going into OP13, people are starting to tech in Douglas Bullets and things like that to help battle with the Emu matchup and all these blockers going on, you know, even with Red-Blue Ace. So really good stuff here. Good to see this. This was piloted very well by whoever submitted this. Not really too much for me to correct, but hey, that's a good thing to hear too, right? Okay, very good game. Let's move on to the next one. All right, guys, next up we have a game of Yellow Kid versus Red Purple Sugar. Now, this game was recorded in a very, very small or low resolution or something. Not sure how to explain it, but hey, here we are. You get what you get, right? So we got a Yellow Eustace Kid versus Red Purple Sugar. Volume is off. Let me make sure the speed is on 2x. Okay, and we are good to go. All right, Yellow Eustace Kid. Big fan of Yellow Eustace Kid. I think going first or second is fine. Let me pause for a second. I don't think it's bad to go first or second with Yellow Eustace Kid, but going second is probably preferable, so you can get right to your 2-Dawn curve like this, where, okay, starting off with a Beige, next turn we have right into a Basil Hawkins, then into a Kuma, and then into a Eustace Kid. So maybe going second is preferable. I don't know how all of these different decks are built, by the way. That's one thing I should have addressed in the intro, guys. I don't have any of the deck lists of any of these games, of any of these players, of any of these decks. So my apologies there, but yeah, I don't have access to them, so I don't know how these decks are built. But it does make sense, actually, the more I'm thinking about it, going second seems like the for sure right way to go with Yellow Eustace Kid. So turn 1, Sugar had nothing to play there. Turn 1 for Eustace Kid. Turn 2, nothing to play for Sugar, but I don't think that's uncommon. I think they like to play a lot of events to ramp Dawn and things like that. But turn 2 for Eustace Kid, we're going to start off with a 5k poke. This will probably get met with a 1-cost Searcher event, which will help them ramp a Dawn, and they get to fix their hand. They're going to take the hit down to 3 life, and they have 7 cards in hand now, playing out the Basil Hawkins, and now Red Purple Sugar's turn. They are up to 6 Dawn now, and up to 8 cards in hand. Okay, they play out the 5-cost, pause. That is the new 5-cost 6k PRB 02 blocker, Doflamingo, which ramps them a Dawn, and like I said, it's a blocker. Okay, so now we're swinging in for 5. Let's see if they're going to ramp any more. You kind of can't really stop Red Purple Sugar from ramping, guys, unless you just want to try to starve them, maybe, which might be an option. Okay, so they use Kamakura Jutsushi, I think it's called. Tin Layer Igloo is the name of the actual translated card. But they're going to use that to make it where we can't even attack with our leader. So that is one thing to consider against Red Purple Sugar, is maybe we should attack with our leader first. Maybe not, though, because if they want to KO our Basil Hawkins, be my guest, right? That burns up their life. Okay, so we play out the Kuma, we gain a life, and then we stand, our Basil Hawkins is active, turn him into a blocker, and we're up to 6 life as the Yellow Eustace Kid player. Red Purple Sugar is going to do some searching here, play out another blocker, Doflamingo, and they're at 10 Dawn when we're still on just 8 Dawn, guys, so they are ramping like crazy. Okay, let's start off with the biggest attack. I do kind of like that, because what if they're running something like Nora Beam Sword or Slow Beam Sword? That card right there, guys. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but it's that card right there. They pay 2 and return a Dawn, and they even blocked as well to get out of that attack and rest down one of our characters. Playing out, now we're going to follow up with a Eustace Kid there after attacking with our leader. They did an easy block with the 5-cost 6k Doflamingo. We play out the Eustace Kid, we burn up their life, and now our board is getting very big. Let's see what card is chosen to stand up. Oh, we couldn't stand up a card because we had no face down life cards as our top life. Okay, here we go. So they're going to start off with a search. This is where Red Purple Sugar gets kind of scary, guys. They made it to the late game with 2 blockers on the board, a full hand, and two cards in their life still. I'm sorry you guys can't see their hand right now, but they have 6 cards in their hand. Okay, they have 6 cards in hand. They're going to swing 7 into 7. Okay, well, that's going to gain a life. And now let's see what they choose to do. They're just going to pass, and they get to stand their Dawn as active with their leader effect, I believe, and their 5-cost Rosinante. Okay, hang on. I missed that. I got to go backwards real quick. So it's going to be 5 into 1 just to get rid of this sugar. Very nice. I do agree with that play. And now it's going to be probably just attack in with the Eustace Kid. And in this situation here, we probably just want to keep standing the Eustace Kid and turning that into a blocker every turn. Okay, 9 into 6. This could be met with a 1-cost 4K, and there's 3 Dawn active. Let's see what the Sugar chooses to do. They just did a 1-cost event to do a top search, and they found a Baby 5. I believe it's the OP10 Baby 5, which I think is a 2K counter. I can't remember exactly. Okay, they let it go. Very nice. So now, excuse me, guys. Excuse me. My allergies. My apologies, guys. Pause. So we swing for 7 into life, and they block with the 5-cost 6K Doflamingo, and then they 2K counter out. And then we're going to follow up with the Katakuri, pushing the 5-cost Rosinante into their life. I like that play. That is a solid play. Let's get their stuff off the board. So hear me out. So let me talk about some other possible plays this turn. Okay, let me actually go all the way back to the very first attack of this turn. Did we attack with this card? We did. Okay, so we attacked with the Basil Hawkins into the Sugar, right? So I think one thing we could have considered doing here is, so hear me out. So I'm going to hit play. So 5 into the Sugar's fine, and then I think we should have gone 6. Only 6 into the, actually not even 6, probably 5 into life, and then go 10, or actually just go 9 into one of the blockers. And then I would play out the Basil, excuse me, I'm messing everything up, guys. I would play out the Zeus here to KO one of the 5 costs, and then I would play out the Katakuri to get rid of one of the others. Because then what we could have done is we could have pushed the 8-cost Doflamingo into their life with the Katakuri, and with the Zeus, we could have KO'd the Rosinante. And now we are way far ahead, and with the Zeus, excuse me, guys, with the Zeus, we would be able to draw a card from our life, which is really good in this situation because we have, I think we have like 7 or 8 life, guys. Let me see this. 2, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we have 7 life. Okay, so again, one more option I would have chosen is something along these lines. Just swing 5 into the Searcher, 5 more into life, 9 into the rested Doflamingo, and then we could go Zeus to KO the Rosinante, and then Katakuri to bounce the 8-cost Doflamingo into their life. Okay, but instead we did choose to attack in like this, so we choose to swing for 9 into the 6K, which that part was fine. I would have still done that, by the way. I would have still done this right here. And then with the way that I was saying to do things, it would have changed everything, right? Because they would have lost 3 bodies this turn altogether. Okay, so we swung for 5 into the Searcher, 9 into the Doflamingo, and let me make sure we're on 2x speed real quick, guys. We are. Okay, some of these games last a lot longer than others. Okay, and they get out of that, and then we play out the Katakuri, and we bounce back the 5-cost Rosinante to their life. Very solid. Still a very solid play. Okay, so we're going to stand up the Basil Hawkins. I probably would have stood up the 9-cost that card instead. I would have stood up the 9-cost... hear me out, guys. Let me talk about this for a second. I would have stood up the 8-cost 9K Eustace Kid instead, because we're daring them to attack into the Basil Hawkins, right? Please, by all means, attack into our Basil Hawkins and get a life burned up. But I would rather them attack into my life. I want to start drawing my cards back, right? I want that 8-cost Eustace Kid on top of my life, if that makes sense, right? I want that card. I want every card under it until I have like 2 or 3 cards left in my life. Then I can start playing way more defensively, more tactically. I need to start drawing these cards from life. So one thing I would recommend in this situation is I would have actually stood the Eustace Kid as active and dared them to attack into the Basil Hawkins, and that way they'd burn a life anyway, because we wanted to use as a blocker anyway, and then we could start gaining these cards from our life if they start attacking in the face. Okay, here we go. So they're going to play out another 8 cost. Yep, that is a scary play, guys. I think the new OP14 leader, Doflamingo, is going to be very scary playing out these 8-cost these 8-cost Doflamingos like this and spitting out 5-cost characters is going to be crazy. Okay, so they passed the turn back. They used the Senior Pink to get the Nora Beam Sword. So 12 into 9 is the first order of business here. And they need to probably use the Nora Beam Sword, and they're going to go +2 and rest down the Katakuri, and then probably 2K counter out of this. Okay, let's see what they choose to do. Just waiting on our opponent here, guys. Just waiting on the opponent here to finish up. They're going to use Little Black Bears to get out of that and draw a card. We're going to play out a Zeus. Very nice. I really like that play. Play out the Zeus. Get rid of their one of their characters there. Play out the other Zeus and get rid of the Senior Pink. Now we're talking. I love that play. That was a great follow-up play. So that way we can actually get this board back and draw some cards from our life and go from there. Okay, and we get to use our leader effect again, which is nice too, because our top 2 life cards were face up. Okay, here we go. Let's see what they choose to do here. So it's back to the red-purple Sugar's turn. We did get to use the 8-cost Eustace Kid to do a cycle at the end of turn. So 11 into 8. Yeah, I think we just give him the beige, right? Yeah, absolutely. We give him the beige. And now 11 into... Or actually, maybe we should have let that one go. Maybe we should have let the 8-cost Katakuri go. And this is what I was saying earlier, how using the Katakuri on one of the 8-cost 9K Doflamingos might have been a better call when we did the Katakuri to push back the Rosinante. But that's okay. You know, that's why people submit these too, by the way, guys. Let's be nice if there's any big play mistakes. People submit these to learn, so let's please be nice in the comment section below. Okay, here we go. We actually have quite the turn here. Looks like they drew a Baby 5, the OP10 Baby 5. From the Sugar. 2 into 1, very nice. Yeah, this is going to be real nice, easy 2s into 1s. They just let that go immediately. That was the right call. And now we could even go, yeah, swing 5. Oh, actually, well, let's see. Actually, yeah, I guess swinging 5 is not a bad call here, because if they take it, we could just smash them with our biggest character. Okay, so in this situation here, I think I would literally just develop the 8-cost. Oh, okay, looks like we're going to swing 14 into 9. We're kind of playing into Sugar's game right now, guys. Remember, Sugar wants to counter out of the big stuff, just like how Blue Nami used to be, right? You guys remember Blue Nami, the self-mill deck? They want to counter out of the big stuff. Do not play into their game. Hit them for minimum attacks. So, pause. Let's talk about this for a second. One thing we could have done here is just burned up their last life, right? Just play out the 8-cost Eustace Kid, burn up their last life, and then pass the turn. You know, just swing minimum into them. Just swing like, you know, 5k into leader, 9k into leader, 8k into leader. One of those would have gotten rested down with a Nora Beam Sword. That's fine. Either way, we're getting 1 card out of their hand. And then if we establish another Eustace Kid, they're going to be in quite a bit of trouble. Okay, here we go. Excuse me. Let's see what the Sugar has to follow up. 5 into 2, obviously. Yep, just let that go, of course. Okay, here we go. 10 into 8. Just let them have it. We can't defend it anyway. We're about to lose our entire board pretty much. Whereas if we had set up with a Eustace Kid on the last turn, we would have burned up their last life card, and then we have a 9k attacker ready to go through with a Zeus to KO their blocker if they try to play one. Okay, let's see what they choose to do here. They play out the Sugar, and they draw Little Black Bears, which is a counter event. We're going to go 2 into 1. Let's see if they want to save this. That'd be really weird if they did. Yep. And now we can play out Eustace Kid, and then we can just attack in. That's what I would do, at least. Okay, going for 6 first. Let's see what they choose to do. Playing around Nora Beam Sword. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Okay, they're going to use Hell's Judgment. That's fine. And now we're going to swing for... Oh, it looks like we were about to swing for 5 more. It doesn't matter. Just play out the Eustace Kid. Just play out the Eustace Kid. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Burn up their life. And now... You know, it's too bad. We probably could have used the Zeus here to just draw a card, right? So they're going to go 5 into 2. We're going to let all this go. We have 2 2K counters, though. We can get out of a pretty decent-sized attack. Okay, where's this going? 9 into what? 9 into 9? They're probably baiting us, guys. Let's be honest. We counter out. They're going to play out a Senior Pink. They're going to grab back Hell's Judgment from the trash. And what are they going to do now? They don't want to KO our Kikanojo because we'll gain a life. But they need to find a way to get out of our next massive attack for 19k or whatever it's going to be. Okay, let's see what they choose to do here. I don't know how they're going to get out of this attack. Because we know they have a Hell's Judgment. What else do they have in hand? Okay, 9. Yeah, we're saving that for sure now. Okay, they passed the turn. We draw into a Monkey D. Luffy. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm putting 10 Dawn on my 9k body, and I'm swinging for 19k. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing in this situation here. 7 to start's a little bit risky because he could have a Nora Beam Sword. We'll see what happens here. So they use the effect of one of their 8-cost Doflamingos. And... remember, guys, we're in 2x speed. We're just waiting for the opponent to make up their mind here. It is hard to play red-purple Sugar. They're going to use Kamakura Jutsushi to get out of this attack. And now we still have this massive attack coming in for 18. Very nice. Let's see what happens here. So it's going to be the Hell's Judgment we already knew they had. That drops them down to 15. And that's going to be game. Well played. Really well played by the Eustace Kid player. Like I said, there's only a few things I would have done differently in this game. I would have probably cashed in on those Zeuses a little bit earlier. because we had so much life. And then also the 8-cost Katakuri. If we could have gotten one of these 8-cost Doflamingos off the board early, then this game probably would not have even been close. But at the same time, we won the game with 5 life, so maybe the game wasn't close after all. Either way, well played. Really good stuff there. Let's move on to the next one. All right, guys, for the next game, we have Purple Yellow Nico Robin. Let's go. Cannot wait to see this. Versus Green Zoro. All right, that's like a meta matchup, right? A meta-relevant matchup. Now, let me say this real quick before the game starts. I think Nico Robin wants to go first, okay? Number 1, to take away first from Green Zoro. That's number 1. And number 2, because Nico Robin usually wants to go first. They can attack in first and start putting on pressure with Banish, and then they get to ramp to their even curve right away. And remember, guys, I think Green Zoro likes to go first anyway because they run Tashigi, the 5-cost Tashigi. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Oh, hang on. Yeah, volume is off. Let me make sure the speed is on 2x. We're good to go. Okay, so here we go. And it looks like we are going to be going first. You guys can't see it. Okay, now you can, but we won the dice roll, and the player at the bottom here, the Nico Robin player, chose to go first, which I think is the right call here. Okay, turn 1 pass. They didn't have anything to play out. And turn 1 pass for the Green Zoro. Swing for 5 to ramp a Dawn with the leader effect and with Banish. Okay. They counter out, and we develop the Jaguar D-Saw. Perfect start so far. Nothing to even talk about. They attack in for 8. We take that. Okay, we got Jaguar D-Saw. The trigger activates the main, I believe, and you have to have 7 Dawn just to be able to do the draw 2. I'm not a huge fan of that Jaguar D-Saw in general, but that doesn't mean it's a bad card. It's just not really my style, because I feel like sometimes it's too situational for my gameplay, for my play style. But either way, if this is a card that this person wants to play, I do understand it is basically made for Nico Robin. Okay, so now we're on a 6 Dawn turn because we ramped, and we can actually ramp this turn by swinging for 5 with our leader and trashing a card with the trigger from our hand, and then we can develop the Jaguar D-Saw to draw 2 cards. Let's see if that's what they choose to do. Absolutely. I think that's the play here because you get to develop your biggest character along the way. Okay, very cool. And yeah, we trash an Onami. We don't really need that. We have Banish built into our leader. They're going to play out Tashigi and swing for 8 into 6. Yep, we're just going to let that go. Maybe we should have blocked. I'm not sure. Maybe we should have blocked. It's hard to say. We take it, and okay, we're on 9 Dawn. Pause. Guys, I'm loving that. I'm love seeing that 10-cost ace in hand, and we have 2 Gum Gum Giants now. We are going to stabilize next turn. Not next turn, really, but like the next turn, I think we should be able to stabilize. Okay, so playing out the 8-cost Katakuri here is what it looks like we're about to do. Getting rid of the Tashigi, developing a massive body, and then we're going to be able to swing for 6. Actually, just swing for 5. We probably should have just swung for 5 there and leave a Dawn up for the Gum Gum Giant, but at the same time, they're probably not going to be able to get away with that, right? Because then we won't be able to play out the... Excuse me, pause. Let me finish my thought. I'm kind of rushing everything. If we leave a Dawn active for Gum Gum Giant, that will probably not be in our... It will probably not benefit us because then we'll go down to 7 Dawn again and then back up to 9 where we won't be able to play out our 10-cost ace. And this turn, I think we want to take a hit. We probably want to take a hit from the Zoro so that way we can go down to 1 life and play out the ace and get full value, right? Okay, here we go. Let's see what they choose to do. They play out the Dracul Mihawk. The Zoro player plays out Dracul Mihawk. They have 4 Dawn left for the turn. This was their 8 Dawn turn. Let's see what they choose to do next. They are deep in the tank, guys, because I keep this on 2x speed, right? We're in 2x speed, so they're going to go 9. We're just going to take that, and we get a baby 5 trigger to draw to. Seems good. Okay, in this situation right here, hang on, how many cards are in their life? I think they have 6 cards in life, and we have 1 life. We can almost hit... Not quite. We can almost hit that Dracul Mihawk with a Yamato. That would have been disgusting, but we cannot do that, so I think we should stick with the game plan. Okay, they're going to play something very differently here. They're going to swing for 7 and banish a card from life. Then they're going to swing in for probably 9 here to banish another card from life. 10. Okay, that was 10 to get over the Mihawk. I guess that makes sense. And pulse. And then develop the Brulee. So hear me out. I think playing out one of these bigger characters would have been preferable, especially the 10-cost ace. Excuse me. We're not going to have a lot more time left in this game to develop that out. When it comes to playing out big characters in the game of One Piece, sometimes it is very hard to develop them. You only get like a single window sometimes to develop these bigger characters, or else they're just bricks in hand. And I think this turn would have been a great turn to do that, because we could play out the ace to gain a life, and then we can just, you know, sit on 2 life and a Jaguar D Saul, and then on our next turns we'll go, you know, we'll be at 10 Dawn still, of course, and then we can start playing out some of the smaller stuff and keep Dawn active for Gum Gum Giant. But now at this rate, we might have to end up using our Gum Gum Giants and trashing our aces, but we'll see what happens. Because like I said, guys, there comes like a certain window for you to be able to develop these big characters. If you miss that window, it's kind of like a brick in hand sometimes, at least sometimes. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Zoro's on a 10 Dawn turn now. They have 8-cost Dracula Mihawk. They're going to play out the Hiyori here to do some searching. They find the OP12 Mihawk. They play it out, and then they swing for 9. I think that's the OP12 Mihawk, right? So we're going to Gum Gum Giant to get out of this and draw 2 and then 2K counter out. And it looks like, what card did we trash? Actually, I'm sorry, guys. We'd have to go backwards. Excuse me. So we played the Gum Gum Giant out, and we trashed the Shirahoshi to draw 2, and then we 2K counter out. Very nice. And then they're going to pass the turn back, and let's see what we choose to do from here. 3 and a 0. Yeah, they should just let this go, of course. That's the right call. And now, let's see what we choose to do. Okay, swing for 6. They should block this for sure with the Dracula Mihawk. That was a very odd decision for me personally, guys. I think they should have blocked that for sure with Dracula Mihawk. But hey, let me say this. Playing out the Katakuri there, I love that, because now we have them we're in full control of this game. We are locking them down. We're not attacking with our 8-cost Katakuri. We don't want to give them any card advantage. We're not attacking with our 8-cost Katakuri. We're just attacking with Banish for the rest of the game. And as soon as they turn a Mihawk sideways, then we're going to attack into that with our characters. Very, very well played so far by the purple-yellow Nico Robin player. Okay, they're going to play out Tashigi. They're going to rest down that card. Yep, going to have to just let that go. Maybe we should have blocked with the, pause. Maybe we should have blocked with the, what's her name here? The Brule. And then if they want to attack into it with the Mihawk, then we get to attack everything into the Mihawk. Right, so maybe we should have done that. Either way, it's probably not a big deal. So Gum Gum Giant to get out of this, going to trash one of the Lin-Lins, and then we're going to 2K counter out from there. And let's see, are they going to restand and swing again? We can't. Well, okay, so we could. Oh, that's right. They already attacked into a character. Excuse me. Very nice. So then, pause. So they were setting up with that 8-cost Katakuri play for the next turn for a Yamato play, and that's why we so aggressively countered out of that, so we could stay at 1 life and our opponents at 4. So then we developed the Yamato to KO their Tashigi. We go up to 2 life, and now we're going to swing for 6 with Banish. This is still a very scary situation, though. I'm not going to lie. This is still a very, very scary situation here, because they could try to go for lethal here, and we have nothing but bricks in hand. Well, we have a 0-cost 3K and a 2K counter. Okay, 11 into 5. Are they going to restand of it and swing for 11 more? We cannot get out of it, but we did get a blocker. That was really good. Okay, they leave 1 Dawn active, and maybe we can go for lethal this turn. Swing for 5. That's going to force a card from hand. That's what I absolutely love about this leader. It's basically tap your leader, and your opponent gets to choose. Do they want to trash a card from hand or trash a life? That's what I absolutely love about Nico Robin, the leader. Okay, in this situation here, okay, 8 into 5, they take it. 8 into 5, they take it. Hopefully we're not hopefully we're not in trouble here. We're going to swing for 9. Going to play out the ace and swing for 10. Whew, guys, this is actually a very dangerous position. Hopefully they have no more ways to get through what we have here. Hopefully they have no more ways to stand their leader. That's all I'm going to say. Because if they can stand their leader here, we might be in trouble. Can we get out of a 12? We have 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, we're gonna dead man's game. They're gonna swing for 8. Why would they do that? Okay, that works out. So they attack in, and we get a Shirahoshi trigger. Okay, well now we're definitely safe. And they restood. So pause. I have to wonder what that was all about, because remember, guys, you attack in with your leader, and if we block, they get to restand their leader, right, with their leader's effect. The Zoro does. So they should have swung for 12, but I don't think it matters, because look what happened. Let's go back real quick. So again, they should have just swung for 12 here, right, and then had 3 Dawn left for their restand effect. And then let's just say we block. Okay, they restand, and then they can attack again. So to be 12 into 5. We have to take that. But watch what we get here. The trigger is actually a Shirahoshi draw 3 trash 2. Seems good. And look what it gets us. It gets us to a 0 cost 3k and a 2k. So now we could have actually gotten out of the 12 no matter what. So we could have gone +6 with the 2 0 cost 3ks. That puts us at 11. And then we have 4k left to get out of whatever's left. Really well played, guys. That is going to be game. Let me hit play and let it go to its, let it finish out. They swing in. We had the 0 cost 3k, or we could have done 2k, 2k. Okay, and then they're going to pass back and then just swing for 9, and that should be GG. Well played. Good game to both players, of course. Good game to all these players we're watching today. But yeah, so I would have played things slightly differently with the purple, yellow, Nico, Robin, or like with the setup we had here. But as long as you come to the same conclusion, as long as you win, that's the main thing that matters. But I do at least want to look back real quick here. Let me go back to, I think it was this turn right here. Okay, so play, they attack in, we get a draw 2 trigger. This turn right here. Now, hear me out, guys. I would have developed my ace on this turn. I would have gone up to 2 life. I have a blocker to help mitigate the attack from the Dracula Mihawk. And if they want to do like a super crazy double attack next turn with, swing 12, swing 12, okay, we'll take both and go down to 0 life. And we have double Gum Gum Giant in our hand, and we can also gain a life with Charlotte Katakuri if we need to. But I would have developed the ace in this situation here. And from there, I think everything else, I think we probably would have done the exact same, like judging by everything I saw. And there was one turn I do want to say was really nice. I think it was this turn here, smashing in, doing all this stuff, okay. And it was on the following turn. They play out the, no, it was not this next turn. Hang on, guys, I got to fast forward a little bit and talk about it. It was right here. So they're down to 4 life now, and we have 1 life. And watch this follow-up turn. They play out a Tashigi here, right? And then we aggressively get out of this with a Gum Gum Giant, which was the right call anyway. And look what that does. That sets up our next turn, and then we block the next attack. And then that sets up our next turn to play out the Yamato to crack the 5 cost Tashigi. Very, very well played by the purple-yellow Nico Robin player. All right, that was a good one. Let's move on to the next one. All right, guys, next up we have a game of Yellow Bonnie versus Black Emu. Now, it looks like their resolution is very close to mine, so I just went ahead and used my standard sim overlay for this one, but it doesn't match perfectly, so it's a little bit off. I apologize. Y'all bear with me. Okay, volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. All right, Yellow Bonnie versus Black Emu. Okay, so it looks like we got a pretty decent hand here, guys. We got the Lilith Searcher, and then we have 2 5-cost boas to really develop the board. If we can get a Stussy to go with this, it could be really strong. Okay, so we get the 2-cost Otama. Okay, so pause. I forgot to mention, I always like to try to mention the beginning, guys. Yeah, against Emu, always try to take second away from them. If you can take second, you're already halfway there to winning the game. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and develop an Otama right on turn 2. Or excuse me, right on turn 1 going second, and that's going to let us attach 2 Dawn to our leader, but we can't swing yet, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, very cool. I like that Otama. It can let you take the top, or I think it's take the top or bottom card of your life and buff your, I think it's buff a leader or character by 3,000 for the turn. Okay, so they're going to play out the St. Shaoria. They're going to do some searching here. They grab a St. J. Garcia Saturn. They're going to swing for 5, and then they're probably going to sacrifice the St. Shaoria to draw another card. And then maybe develop a blocker. Okay, they chose not to do that. They chose not to do that. I might have missed the sequencing there. They might have done it earlier in the turn to get to that St. Shaoria. Okay, so we get a Lilith Searcher here. Very nice. So it looks like we're going to be able to grab... I think we were only able to grab the Nami there. Okay, and then we attach 2 Dawn for free to our leader. And we're coming in for 8. This is going through. Yep, they could have countered out of it potentially, but they did not. I think like a 1-cost 4K probably could have gotten out of that. But do they want to use that this early on? The answer is maybe, right? Sometimes the answer is maybe because you have your Dawn available. So either way, Emu's going to go back here. They're gonna play out the St. J. Garcia Saturn by using the stage to get a 1 Dawn reduction, discount on that, and they swing for 6 into Bonnie. We take it, and what did we get? Hang on, let me see something. So I will say this. So swinging for 6, we take it. We get the Joy Bonnie 9-cost. The 2K counter Frankie would not have been terrible there. Hear me out, guys. Countering out of the early stuff from Emu is not a horrible idea because, they start swinging for 7s nonstop after they start playing out the 10-cost 5 Elders. Okay, so swing 5, they 1K counter out. Looks like we're probably going to play out this Boa here. So notice what the Boa does. You may trash one card with a trigger from your hand. Up to one of your opponent's rested leaders or characters other than Luffy cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn, and the trigger can KO a 4 or less. Really solid card. They're going to play that out. It looks like they're going to trash the Onami here and make it where the leader cannot attack, and then we're going to get to swing for 8 to their leader. Yeah, they should get out of this. Never Exist is the right call there. I was going to say they probably should have even got out of the first one if they were able to with that event, but hey, it is what it is. 3 life is still plenty for Emu, that's for sure. Okay, so they can only attack in with the St. J. Garcia Saturn this turn. Their leader cannot attack because of that Boa. They play out another St. J. Garcia Saturn. Let's see what they draw up this time. They draw a St. Marcus Mars. That's the card. Now, they're bit of a play mistake there. Pause. We have to talk about this. That was a bit of a play mistake on the Emu's part. They should have played out the St. J. Garcia Saturn for 4 Dawn. Like, do not use the... They have 7 Dawn. They have 7 Dawn, right? So if they play out the St. J. Garcia Saturn for 4, they can still use the stage to play out anything from their hand for 3, other than the 10-cost Elder card, obviously. But they just drew into a St. Marcus Mars, you see on the screen right now, which they could have cheated out this turn. They could have played out the St. J. Garcia Saturn for 4, and then played out this Marcus Mars for 3 with the effect, and KO'd our 5-cost Boa Hancock, and that would have been a very, very big deal. And then on top of that, the leader can't swing anyway, right? So let's see what they do to follow up here. Maybe they had another plan in mind. Okay, they're going to trash the St. Marcus Mars to draw a card, and now they're going to play out the St. Shaoria. They find the 10-cost 5 Elders. Okay, and let's see what they do now. They're going to trash the Mercury with that effect, and now they're going to swing 7 into 5. We should just let this go. I'm thinking we should just let this card go here. Let's see what we choose to do. And make sure the speed is on 2x. Yep, it is. Yeah, I think, so we can counter out, but I don't think we should. Let's see what we choose to do. Looks like we're going to, guys. We're going to 2k, 1k to get out of that. Okay. I don't think it's necessarily a play mistake, but I would have just let the card go and kept the counter in my hand to help my bigger characters. Okay, so I think everything should go into this St. J. Garcia Saturn here. We need to just eat up their board and eat up their hand. We don't actually want to let them draw too much here, but rushing them down, I do understand what's going on there too. Okay, what's going on here? It looks like we're going to swing for 9. Okay, so we are deciding to go all in at face, which I don't know if that's the right call. 5 into 5, they're going to counter out of this for sure. If they don't, there's a problem. And then it looks like we're going to be able to play out the 5-cost. Wow, okay. So let's talk about what's going on here. So Bonnie does not have like the greatest matchup in the world against Emu. So it looks like what we're doing in this situation here is just trying to rush them down, which I think sometimes that can work and other times it probably doesn't work, right? But I think in this situation here, I probably would have just tried to eat up their board a little bit, and I would have developed another Boa, even if I can't use anything, just develop the 5-cost 7k and then go for a higher value play on the next turn, right? Because you still have one more turn before they can play out the 10-cost. Either way, this is not, again, I don't think this is a bad play, and it might pay off if the Emu player does not play this next turn very, very carefully. Okay, and see, now we're starting to see the big mistake that happened there where the Emu player did not play out things properly, playing out the St. J. Garcia Saturn for 4 and the Mars for 3, because they got 1 extra attack on us, or we got 1 extra attack on them this turn. Okay, they're going to play out the Venus Juro. Let's see if they have 10 cards in their trash. They do, so 5 into 5, we just let that go. We have no counter power. And now swinging in for 5. Get the Frankie. I probably would use that to cycle, believe it or not. I probably would cycle with that, at least I would personally. Okay, are we going to get to sneak a win on them right here, guys? Because they have no blocker on the board. Going to swing for 7. And then we get a Lilith. Okay. So pause. I'm gonna guess what's gonna happen here, guys. Judging by the way things were played, I think the 9-cost Jory Bonnie is gonna get dropped here, and it's gonna be swing for 7, swing for 11. If I had to guess, we'll see. Let's see if that's enough. Okay, just kidding. Gonna play out the Lilith. Gonna grab a Flame Split. Okay, and then it looks like we're going to maybe play out the Bonnie. I'm just very confused now. We're gonna break this game down a little bit later, or after we see what happens. Yeah, because we actually... pause. Let me say one more thing. We actually could have swung for a truckload, right? Because we do have Otama. We can actually swing for 10 and then 11. We can go swing 10, swing 11. So actually, maybe that is the right play. Maybe playing this Otama out early was the way to go. I just don't know why we went for the Lilith here. I'm sorry, that's the one thing that confused me, is I'm not sure why we went for the Lilith. Okay, nice. Yep, here we go. Swing for 10 and then for 9. I guess it doesn't matter. Swing 10 and swing 10. Either way is fine. They get out of that one. Swing for 10. And they didn't have enough. Let's go. Okay, hang on. It went to the. It ended too quickly. Let me see what was in their hand. Okay, pause. That was awesome. We got a little bit lucky there. I think we got a little bit lucky as the Bonnie player. But we have a lot to talk about. I do like the idea of just rushing down the Emu, and because of that, playing out the Otama is a very, very big deal early on. That was a great heads-up play for later in the game. So, guys, for all the yellow Bonnie players out there, remember that. Get down the Otama early. If they KO it, they KO it, right? If they want to use a Marcus Mars to KO your Otama versus like a 5K or a 7K on the board, it is what it is. But being able to slam down this Jory Bonnie and just go swing 10, that's a big deal. So let's go ahead and talk about a few things, though. Excuse me. So right here, I think everything was fine in the game. I think I would have done everything the exact same up to a certain point. We're going to fast forward. We'll talk about it when we get there. Playing out the Boa, everything is like A-OK right here. Everything is, right on track to win this game. Okay, and then let's see what happens. They play out the St. J. Garcia Saturn. They make a massive play mistake playing out the St. J. Garcia Saturn for only for 3 when they could have played out for 4 and then played out the Marcus Mars for 3. We caught a massive break there. They play out St. Sharia. They goofed with that. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they're trashing cards from hand instead of cards from the board. Not sure what's going on. Saving this card ended up being just fine. That was, like I said, that was not a play mistake. That was just like that was kind of more of a greedy play. But hey, sometimes it's like a high risk, high reward type of situation. That was completely fine. But then right here, we have an 8 Dawn turn. Going for it. So you had 2 options at this point of the game. You could have swung everything into the St. J. Garcia Saturn for just blank attacks. Excuse me, guys. Literally just attack into the St. J. Actually, you don't even have to do that, do you? Instead, you can actually just go swing 5K into their leader and then play out the Boa. Actually, so I guess swing 5. Hang on, guys. Let me do the math on this. We have 8 Dawn. So we have 3 extra Dawn. We kind of have 5 Dawn to work with because we're going to get 2 Dawn from playing out a Boa. What we could have done here is actually swing for 7 with the Lilith, 7 with the Boa, and then 8 with our leader by playing out the other Boa. And I think we should have trashed the other Boa in our hand. I know it's a bunch of Boas, but trash the other Boa in our hand to lock down their character. And that way you can stay aggressive, go 7 face, 7 face, 8 face, which is very aggressive. And then on the following turn, we'll talk about that in just a second. So watch what happens here. So we swing for 9 instead. We swing for 5. A little bit of a problem with our sequencing. Swing for the smallest numbers first if possible, just so they have less options in their hand to attack with. So swing 5. We swung for 9 and then 5, and then we swing for 11. Okay? So again, if we're going to swing for those numbers, it's probably better. Pause. Pause. We probably should have swung for 7, 9, 9 if that's the case. Or 5, 9, 11 if that's the attacks you really want to do. So practice the sequencing there. Be very careful with that. And then watch this follow-up turn here. So, they're on a 9 Dawn turn. So they attack into our board. We have no counter. Yeah, we'll just let that go. It's not a big deal. They attack in with Venus Juro. We have no counter. That's fine. We let that go. Right here with Frankie, I personally would have used that to cycle out a card, even though it doesn't go to the board. And then watch this. So on this turn here, if you've decided that we're trying to aggro them down, we're just trying to go for lethal, well, we had a very good option here. We actually could have not even played out the 1-cost Lilith, just play out the 9-cost Jory Bonnie, burn up their last life card, and now we have a 10K on the board. And remember, we attach 2 Dawn for free to our Jory Bonnie leader with her effect, and then we Otama to buff our leader up to 10, and then we attach the final Dawn to our character. And instead of swinging for 10-10, we can swing for 10-11. Either way, that was a very interesting game. It's not so much that there were a lot of play mistakes or anything. There was a little bit of interesting sequencing we saw with some of the attacks, and we definitely caught a break with the Emu player. I feel like they messed up a little bit, and they didn't see enough blockers, like the what's his name, the Mercury or whatever his name is. They probably should have played out more blockers throughout the game, or searched for them, or whatever, or maybe they just didn't see them. Who knows? Either way, we had a few shady plays here and there, but at the end, we were able to beat this Emu player, and I do think that's the way to go if you're playing as Emu. Number one, to win the dice roll. I know that's just chance, but number two, play as aggressively as possible, because if you let them start, because we saw their hand at the end, right? Guys, let me pause right here for the final attack, and pause. We see their hand. They are going to go 10 cost elder, or 10 cost 5 elders into 10 cost 5 cost I'm keep messing this up. They're going to go 10 cost 5 elders into 10 cost 5 elders into 10 cost 5 elders. So it's good to rush them down like that. I do like that quite a bit. Really well played either way. Just work on the sequencing a little bit with this one. There were a little bit of shaky areas, and you know, because even going for it's fine. Playing aggressively and stuff like that, it's completely fine. Just make sure you attack in the right order and make sure you're swinging optimally, because we could have, instead of swinging for 10-10, we could have swung for 10-11. And remember, they almost got out. Let's look at their final attack real quick. They were 1K away from winning this game, because if they stand up, we basically lose on the crackback, right? Maybe not, though, actually. But yeah, all right, so here we go. So we swing for 10. Let's see how they counter out of this one. They go 1 cost 4K to get to 9, and then they go 2K. Yeah, and then they only had 2K, 2K, 1K. So again, they were 1K away from probably winning the game, because everything after that would have been brutal. I don't know if we could have survived the crackback, especially going into all these 5 elders. I think they could have potentially stabilized. Either way, great game to both players. That was an awesome, really good submission there. All right, guys, we got one more game to go over. All right, guys, we have one more game to go over, and it's going to be Green Purple Lim versus Red Purple Roger. Okay, I've heard a lot of talk about Green Purple Lim. Let's see how this goes here. So volume is off. We got the speed on 2x, and here we go. So real quick, just to get this out of the way, guys, both of these leaders, let me pause, actually. Both of these leaders want to go first, okay? Red, Purple, Roger, because they have a good one-cost play in Shanks, and then they have quite a few ways. I think they have Buggy. They have 2 different ways to gain a Dawn going first on their second turn, and it's with Buggy and with the one-cost event. I can't remember the name of it. And then Green, Purple, Lim, of course, wants to go first, because they also have a way on 3 Dawn to ramp, you know, with their leader effect. Okay, so it looks like the Red Purple Roger is going to get to go first, and they get a Shank, so that's basically a perfect start to the game. And they get an event. We'll have another Scrap, which will let them ramp Dawn next turn. Okay, we get the Lim. Did we draw into that? I didn't see that in the opening hand. Or yeah, we did have it in the opening hand. But either way, we have the Lim to go first here. We can't attack or anything. Not a big deal. And now we're going to pass it back after playing out the Lim. That's basically the best start you could have as Green Purple Lim, playing out that Lim character. Okay, they go ahead and ramp with the, it's time for a Scrap or whatever it's called. And then we're going to go ahead and play out an Enel, attacking in with the Lim, so we have a rested character. And then playing out the Enel to do a draw 3 trash 2, because we have 2 or more rested characters. Looks like we're going to trash a Hell's Judgment and a Mihawk. Okay, I do like the Mihawk quite a bit. So we're going to swing for 5 to finish up the turn here. And it looks like we were thinking about playing out the Lim. I guess you could play out the Lim and just stand both Limbs end of turn, but yeah, probably better to just keep the counter in hand. Yeah, they're just gonna keep that, and they're gonna stand up the other Limb with their effect. And the Red Purple Roger took the 5K hit, by the way. The Red Purple Roger did take the 5K hit, and that means their hand might be a little bit bricked. Okay, Red Purple Roger following up with a second form of ramp, and they're gonna go 9 into 6. 2K to get out of that seems good. Okay, we were able to save the Enel, and now we're going to play out the Sanji. Okay, very cool. Hang on, pause. I didn't think about running that new Sanji in here. That's very interesting. You play it out, and of course you can stand Dawn as active. Now we're going to swing for 5 with our leader, and then we can go from there. That's very interesting. That new Sanji is very solid, too, because it stands up a Dawn at the end of your turn, right? Or does it? I wonder, does your leader have to be a certain type in order to do that? Or does the on-play require your leader to be a certain type? I can't actually remember. Let's see if we're mousing over it here. Let me pause. Looks like they're going to play. I can barely read it here. On play, set up to 2 of your Dawn as active, and then end of your turn, if your leader has the Film or Straw Hat Crew type, you can set your Dawn as active. Okay, so I guess we can't actually use the in your turn effect, but on play, standing 2 Dawn as active seems good. And now we have more, it's kind of like a board flood card in this deck, right? Okay, so swing for 5, and now swing for 7. They took the 5, did they take the 5K hit, guys? Hang on. Wow, Red Purple Roger, they take the 5K hit here. They must be completely bricked. So then here comes 7. Now they're going to have to take this 2 or counter out with 2 cards. when they could have countered out with just one with the limb. Look at that. Okay, I see the problem right away. I know we're watching through the eyes of the green-purple limb, but we talked about this earlier in one of today's games. Watch what they did right here, guys. They were scared to give up a 2K counter. Watch this. They just gave up two 2K counters. Pause. If they had just countered out of the 5K hit from limb with a 2K counter, which is not a big deal. If they had done that, it would have been one card for one attack. Well, now guess what? We swung for 5. They took that hit, and we swung for 7. That's the hit they should have taken. And now instead of counting out of the 5 for 1 card from hand, they counted out of the 7 for 2 cards out of hand. So very much a bit of a greedy play there by the Roger player. Okay, so here we go. Going to use Leader Effect to ramp it down and play out the Enel to do a draw 3 trash 2. Very solid. Standing up one of the Enels at the end of turn with the Limbs effect, the 1-cost characters effect. Okay, going to play out the Rayleigh. Red Purple Roger plays out Rayleigh, resting down. I'm going to be honest, pause. That was a play mistake. So the Red Purple Roger, that was a play mistake. They should have rest down the Limb, the 1-cost 0 power Limb. Because if they had done that, then you get to swing 2 into it with Shanks and 2 into it with Buggy. They're not going to be able to save it, right? And then you get to still attack into 2 relevant targets on the board. 6 into 6 for Enel, and then 9 into 7 into Sanji with Rayleigh. Okay. Excuse me. And then they did not attack with Silver's Rayleigh. Okay, I'm a bit perplexed here. I'm a bit confused. Why would we not attack in with Rayleigh, even if it means they're going to attack into Rayleigh? Because that's a 9,000 power body versus the 7,000 power leader. So that just mistakes on mistakes here. Again, they should have rest down the Limb and attacked 2 into it with Buggy or Shanks, and then 6 into the Enel, which was done anyway, and then 9 into the Sanji or the Enel, either one, to try to get one of those off the board. Okay. Even if it doesn't get off the board, by the way, it's still the right call, guys, because it eats up all the cards from hand. All right, here we go. So this is a 7,000 power leader now. Red Purple Roger's a 7,000 power leader now. Gonna be 7K pokes. I love that. That's how I like to play, guys. Just attack for the minimum when you can. You know, if you have to go for lethal, of course you have to go for lethal. But just attack in for these bare minimum numbers and develop your board and protect it with your events. Okay. Now we're going to go for 9, it looks like. They'll probably take this. And then we're going to use the effect here with Mihawk to swing in for 9 more, maybe. Yeah, I'd say just 9. Yeah, I would say 9 with the Enel here, and then probably 7 with our Limb, with our leader. Yeah, I think we actually should have just gone like 7, 7, 7, you know, with the leader first, and then 9s with this Enel and restand a 9 again. They'll probably take this. This will be they've already given up 2 2Ks. Okay, they have a 0-cost 3K. Very nice. They're down to 2 cards in hand. That's fine. We could pass the turn now, right? Yeah, we can actually just pass the turn now, guys, because we have 3 Dawns worth of events in hand. Ooh, they play out the Shanks. That Shanks is ugly. They're going to go 7 into 6. Okay. So, pause. Okay. Yeah. No, hang on. Hang on. This is a play mistake. So, this is, of course, a play mistake because they should be going 7 into 5. 7 into 5 still gets met with a counter event, but it doesn't matter. They're forced into using the counter event because watch what happens next. So, if they had gone 7 into 5, because remember, guys, the Enel's a 5K. Okay? The Enel's a 5K because it has minus 1,000 power from the Shanks. This Sanji would normally be a 7K, but it has minus 1,000 from the Shanks. So right here, it should have been 7,000 into the Enel player, which would I can't even talk right now, which would require a very large investment from hand here. It would probably require the Hell's Judgment. Okay, let's see what they do. -3, -3. They get out of that very easily. And then 6 into 6. This is going to be a 2K. And now they're probably going to have to eat whatever that is. But hey, that's not really a big deal. And that's a 9-cost Zoro. That's interesting. I wonder. I don't think we can play that out, though. I don't think we can do that. I think we probably are going to need to be a bit more aggressive here. Yeah, let's go for 7s. Yeah, we have to get him down to 0 and try to Alpha Strike next turn, I think. Yep, they got the Dawn all divvied up right now. It's swing for 7, they take it. Swing for 7, swing for 9. Maybe 8 and 8 might have been a bit better there. Okay, well, I don't think we're going to lose this turn, so that's fine. Okay, and here we go. Stand-Up Picard is active. Even if they have the Roger, the 10-cost Roger, it doesn't matter. We can get out of that because we have 3 life. They can only get through for 3 attacks, so they couldn't get through for the 4th one. We could get out of their leader attack. Okay, they play out a Scoppers here. They're going to attack into our board. We're basically going to let everything go because what are you going to do? Yeah, we'll take that. And that's game. Guys, there's nothing that they can... Okay, they played out a blocker. So pause. Let's do the math right here. Oh, Not much math needed. We're going to go ahead and use the effect of the Dead Man's Game. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to use the Dead Man's Game here. Just rest down their Uda. And then we're going to swing through for, what would that be? So that's 4 Dawn for Dead Man's Game, 6 Dawn left, swing for 11. So that means even if both cards in their hand are 2k counters, it doesn't matter. It can only get them to 11. But let's say we didn't have access to the Dead Man's Game. Well, we still have an ace in hand. Wait, I think ace can only rest down a 5. I don't know. Either way, we have the Dead Man's Game. Let's swing in for 11 here. Let's see what they get. There's no way out of this with only 2 cards in hand. Not without any Dawn active. Okay, both players said GG. So they had a 0 cost 3k. So maybe that's what we would have to play around in the future. So let me say it like this. So if we did not have a way to rest down the blocker, we would need to put 5 Dawn on each character. And that would be swing 10, swing 10. One gets blocked, and the other only gets them to 10k. So that would have won as well. So that is something to really consider, guys. Either A, if they have 2 2ks in hand, they basically just win anyway. But if they don't have 2 2ks in hand, and you have to get through the blocker in this situation here, swinging 10 and 10 is probably the best way to do that. And I will say that's where those Mihawks come in really handy. You know, the one we trashed earlier was a little bit scary for me because those Mihawks just win games. I'm talking about the 5 cost 6k Mihawk that can restand one of your Odyssey characters. Those things can win games. So something to really consider, because with our leader effect, we can just pay 3 and cheat it out to get the extra attack off. Either way, really good game to both players. That was awesome. Very well executed by the green-purple limb player. I think they played everything pretty much, you know, pretty solid. All right, guys. Well, that's it. Let me get the outro page on here. What'd y'all think? I'm not sure who all here has seen... actually, let me get these black bars off as well. There we go. I'm not sure if there's any new listeners on here, if this is your first time seeing one of the VV Labs and how we kind of break the games down. But they're meant to be ways to help out the community. You know, if you're a newer player and you're struggling with certain things, record a game and send it for me to review. It usually takes me about a month to get around to reviewing each game, but still, and I try to do like 5 games at a time like what we saw here. But hey, you know, if you just need a little bit extra help, it's free. There's no charge involved. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully it helped some people out. If I missed anything, guys, please help me in the comments section below, because we see a lot of crazy different decks on here. I'm not a master of every one of these, right? So if I messed up on anything, if I overlooked something, by all means help us out down in the comment section below. Well, all right, guys, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Guys, if you are liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Until next time, peace.